Welcome to the second vlog from Narrowboat Farm. Today's vlog doesn't actually come from Narrowboat Farm, it comes from a sunny and cold Edinburgh where I'm working one of my winter jobs trying to earn some money to see my way through to the next planting season. And today's vlog isn't going to be about Narrowboat Farm itself, it's hopefully going to be relevant to people starting their own projects or businesses. Throughout the year what I'd like to do is to try and get across some of the experience that I've had over the past 15 years of running small businesses to try and give a few tips and tricks to do with people running their own projects, whether it's a small business or a social enterprise or anything else really. So hope you enjoyed today's vlog and let's get going. The first tip I wanted to talk about for starting a small business and project management is be careful who you tell your idea to. And I don't mean that in terms of be protective and worry about someone copying your idea. What I mean is you need to pick and choose carefully who to ask for advice. Think of it from the point of view of if you're asking someone for their advice, their opinion on your project, it might actually tell you a bit more about them than you. It'll tell you a bit more about their point of view, where they're coming from. For example, as a little bit of a disclaimer, I'm giving you advice about how you should start your business or project, and I'm coming from the perspective of someone who's done small business for 15 years, had their experiences, had their successes and plenty of failures, and so that taints my objective opinion of how you should do things. And you'll find that with whoever that you tell your idea to, they come from their own perspective, and as I said, it can tell you more about them than you. For example, someone tells you, nah, that'll never work. What they actually probably mean is, I couldn't make that work. Or if they tell you, oh yeah, I tried that and it doesn't work, again it tells you actually not whether you can do it, it tells them whether they can do it or not. So hopefully a little bit optimistic if you have someone who tries to kind of be down on your idea and tell you for some reason how it can't be done or shouldn't be done. That it really is, they're talking about themselves, not about you and your idea. Tip for starting a project or successful business is to start at the end and work your way backwards. And by that, what I mean is that whatever this project is or this business is, it has to serve you and your goals. So for example, if you have a small business that you want to start, you need to picture what you want that business to achieve, whether it's your lifestyle or a certain amount of money, and then be really honest about whether it can do that and work your way backwards from there. So for example, with Narrowboat Farm, I wanted to have a lifestyle business, so something that was fun to do, and a business that served a triple bottom line. So it wasn't just about making money, and indeed some of the first research and courses that I did for Narrowboat Farm and how to get into small scale farming told me pretty quick that it wasn't really going to make any money. It's a bit strange going into a business knowing that it's not going to make money, but there's two other elements, the social and the environmental elements, that Narrowboat Farm has got an awesome amount of potential. Indeed, it's starting to realise some of that potential as well. So if you picture yourself in 5 or 10 years and what this business has done for you, and then you need to design that business or that project to achieve those things. So if it is about financial goals, you need to be able to earn, say, £30,000 per year, which gives you enough money to live off, enough money to afford a home, enough money to have awesome holidays. That's what your business needs to do for you. If you're going to work full time on it, that's what the profit needs to be. So work backwards from that, set your goals from that, and work out exactly how this business can achieve that. If you picture yourself sat in a hot tub drinking a beer, enjoying life, but you don't really care if you're skint, then you need to design the business to that as well. So as I say, think about exactly where you want to be and how this business can achieve it for you, and then work backwards from there to set your goals. The third tip or trick that I'd like to put across is to not to worry about whether your project actually achieves what it set out to do. And I know that sounds strange because obviously you want it to, but when I was a couple years into my first business and things were going really, really badly, a friend of mine said, don't worry, whatever energy you put into something, you'll get something out of it. And he was totally right. What I aimed for the project to do never happened. It just didn't add up, basically. But I put lots of effort in and found another angle, and that angle ended up working and being quite successful. So don't worry if you end up going off at a tangent or not doing exactly what you wanted to do, because it's probably inevitable that that might happen. It's probably a very small percentage of businesses or projects that end up looking exactly like they were expected to look when you do that 5-year plan or you do the forecasts. It's quite rare that that will actually happen. So whatever energy you put into it, you'll get something out of it. The other way of looking at it is, if you're going to fail, you don't get better at failing, you actually get better at succeeding. I know that sounds really corny, but when you set a goal, there's two things you can achieve. You can either achieve that goal, or you can become better at achieving goals, or preferably both. And I suppose in some ways it's also a plea to go for the opportunities that come to you. Don't be pig-headed about what you're meant to be doing and what you set out to do. Respond to what comes in your way, because that effort and that energy that you put in might not manifest itself exactly the way you thought. It might actually end up bringing up another opportunity. So make sure you're there and able and willing to respond to whatever the different opportunities come your way, because the more you do your project, the more you do your business, the better you'll become at responding to these opportunities. The fourth tip I have for starting a business or a project is you need to be able to sell the idea to yourself before you can sell it to anyone else. Because when people look at a project or a business, perhaps you need support, you need funding, they look at two things. They look at the viability of the business itself, but more importantly, they look at the person who's running it. Some of the best business ideas in the world have never got themselves off the ground because the person putting across the idea or trying to sell the idea just wasn't convincing. Your first goal with that is you really need to convince yourself. You need to be able to be fully confident when you're telling someone else how awesome it is that you actually believe that, because if you have that, you have your integrity, you'll be believable. So make sure you spend a good while at the start really dissecting the idea, really making sure that you know exactly what the best bits of your idea are, and also the bad bits as well, because you need to get past them. You need to not have them nagging at your head telling you that they're going to be a problem, this thing's never going to work. Because if you don't think it will work, you're not going to convince anyone else that it will work either. So make sure you get yourself convinced, get yourself super stoked on the idea before you can convince anyone else. The fifth tip I'd like to give you for starting a project, especially a business, is try and take the pressure off yourself. So you might have a business idea, you might have a spreadsheet that tells you you can work full time on it, it's going to earn you loads of money, it's going to be super successful, and it's going to get all the support it needs. But if you end up working full time on that, you can't cover your living costs, you get that stress that creeps in. So if you have a project or especially a business that you can start off and still work part-time, cover all your living expenses, So in effect, this project or business is not so much a hobby, but a pastime, something you do in your spare time. So then at the end of the month, when you know that your rent or your electric bill or whatever else is covered, you don't have to stress about this project doing everything it needs to do and earning as much money as it needs to.